Hi everybody and welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to be going through a tutorial of the first violin part of the Bach double violin concerto. My counterpart, who's going to be doing the violin 2 part of this, is Ben Chan. I'll put a link to his channel up now. I would imagine that most of you guys watching this will probably know Ben as well, but if you don't, it's Ben Chan. Go and check out his channel. He's just a phenomenal violinist and he's just amazing, and he does loads of kind of anime tutorials, anime performances as well, and he does a lot of music transcribing as well on chamber hymns, I think .com. I think I've got that right, but I'll put a link to everything underneath anyhow. So he's my counterpart. He's going to be doing violin 2. He's also done a tutorial on his part of violin 2, and in a separate video we will be uploading the actual final performance of both of us. So I'm in the UK, he's in the USA, but we've put a little something together for you, so hopefully you can enjoy that. So I'm going to be taking you through the violin 1 part of the Bach double violin concerto in D minor. So I've not made notes specifically on this. I thought the best approach would be to, if I just go through it and play and just stop at any appropriate parts that I think would benefit you guys, or I can give you any hints and tips and things. So the second violin actually kicks the whole thing off, so you start with 4 bars rest. So I'm going to come in where the first violin part starts. I have slowed this down, so I will play it a lot slower, not at the usual speed, so I can stop and start and talk you guys through it. So I think it pretty much starts fairly simply. So the first thing I probably need to mention is that for the majority of this, where you are going to be on the bow is going to be nearer the top part of the bow, and probably no more than halfway in the bow. You don't really, there isn't, I can't think of any parts unless you've got, I don't think there is anything. The longest note, I think, if I'm not mistaken, is, oh no, there is a minim on the second line. I'll put a link to the sheet music, by the way, underneath of where you can get this from IMSLP. So unless you've got the odd minim here and there, you're not going to be going any lower than probably halfway in the bow, because you've got a lot of semi-quaver notes and quaver notes, and this is moving at quite a swift pace anyway. So when you're doing the semi-quaver notes, you can see that I'm really only using probably about that much of my bow, and I'm near the point. The reason why I'm near the point is because it's much easier to do faster bowing. If you're near the heel, or you're sort of halfway, you're having to then use a lot of the arm. So it becomes very cumbersome, the notes become quite sharp, too loud, you just lose a lot of control, which is really odd because the most control that you have is at the heel of the bow, but at this point you don't want that much control. So you want to be fairly near the point or towards the tip of the bow, so that what you can do is just almost use your wrist. So if you can see that I'm actually not using any part of my arm, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not even bowing from the elbow. In fact, the whole top part of my arm, so basically from my shoulder to my wrist, is not actually moving. It's in an L shape. So as you can see, it's just the top part of my hand that's actually moving from the wrist. So I don't need to move any of my arm at all there. So that's how you're going to do most of the semi-quaver movements. Now when it comes to the quavers, they've got staccato above them, so that's the little dot that you get above the note, and you almost need to really stop the bow for those. So if I do the first semi-quaver run, a good way to practice those notes actually, so you are actually sort of stopping the bow. You're not going to completely play it that way, of course, but you are going to play it fairly short, but it's good just to practice it's good just to practice stopping the bow anyway. So whenever you get the quavers, and the quavers are mostly, I think it goes without saying, for everything, any quaver that you get does have a staccato above it as well. So you don't want to be flying off the string. It's not quite like that. So it's not spiccato bowing, but it's staccato bowing. So, and again, the more you can do with the wrist as well. So you're not going, as soon as you start doing things like that, or as soon as you start bowing from the elbow, that means you're too far past the middle of the bow towards the heel. So you want to be near the top. So the further you are to the heel, the more arm you're going to have to use. The further you are to the point of the bow, the less arm you're using. And you're just simply using the wrist there. So whenever you get the semi-quaver, whenever you get the quavers, just stop the bow. So I'm moving up into third position there, as it says on the music anyway. I'm going back down into first position at the open A that's written there. So especially when you get to something like this, when you're jumping from the E string, the G on the E string, to any note on the D string, you're jumping over an annoying amount of strings. So you really are going to have to stop the bow, stop, move the bow to the next string, play, stop, move the bow to the next string. So you don't get the open A in the middle. You don't want that because it's going to be really messy. So stop, move, play, stop, move, play. Okay? So I'm going to move into third position here, as it says at bar 13. So I'm back into first position here. Back into third position, as it says at 18. Now, you don't have to go down into first position there. I did, because I like the slide going back up into third position when you go from the D to the C natural. So starting from bar 18, I use the open E as an opportunity to move down. And then I move up here. You could keep it all in third. But I don't like the sound of that, because it's actually part of the tune, or it is actually the main kind of motive or the main theme of the tune. So I almost think it's a shame to put it in third position. And again, you've got that kind of loss of tuning there, as I just demonstrated there. So that's how not to play your notes. Going up into third position here. So now we're at A, and you are where the solo is. So I believe that the second violin part doesn't have anything to do here, and this is your glory moment. This is your chance for the first violin to shine. Now this is really hard to do without hitting any of the other strings in between it. So even I struggled with this part here, and I've had to work hard at it, but it's just a case of knowing how to do it. So it was how I said earlier, where you're stopping, moving the string, play, stop, move, and then move the string, move the bow across the string. So you're stopping. So you don't want to get any other of the strings in the middle of that. It's very, very hard to do, but I don't think there's any other way of getting around it. You could move it into third position, but I think because then you're having to move and stretch too far up, I think that's going to be even more tricky than it is just to practice moving from the F on the D string to the A on the E string. So just stop the bow and just practice. So it's hard to do that, but it's just a case of practicing and just moving that arm really, really quickly. So pull the bow down, move, pull the bow up, move, pull the bow down, move, pull the bow, and try not to let the bow move in between so you don't get you don't kind of get that pull sound there. So then moving on from there, so I move up into third position on that, on the F there. Sorry, on the D there. I completely forgot what note I was looking at there. So I move up into third position there, and then you're ready for you're back to an open E, as it says. Now watch out for the F natural here on the E string. So you've been doing a lot of F sharps, so watch out for the F natural. It's not. Although that would kind of sound quite nice as well, but it's F natural. Up into third position here, as it says, with a 4 on that G. Up into third position. To bar 30 there, you're going to have to roll the third finger over. So the first part of bar 30, you end on a D after the second set of 4 semiquavers, and then you've immediately got a G, which is also a third finger, which is on the D string, and then you're back. So you need to just keep your finger on and just roll it. Whatever you do, don't go. So you get an open string in the middle, because it's going to sound really messy. So keep the third finger on and just simply roll it. If you know that you've got to roll your finger, you can be prepared, and almost, when I do that, I almost put the third finger sort of on both strings partly at the same time, so I haven't got so far to roll, and it makes it easier. So moving on, I think everything else is fine there. So again, it's just, you've got a lot of string to jump in there, but I've already told you how to do that, so just stop the bow and then move the bow, and then you can carry on going there. When you get to 36, you've got some really awkward arpeggios here. Now I start at bar 36, you've got an open A, and then you've got a D, which I start in third position with the 1, as it says. So you'll have an open A, then a 1, then a 3 for the F, then a 1 for the A, 4 for the D, 1 for the A, 3 for the F, 1 for the D, and then an open A, and then you're moving ever so slightly back into second position, so you can put your first finger for a C natural. So open A, C natural is 1, as the music says. Then you've got a 3 for that E. Try not to do an open E. And then a 2 for the A, 4 for the C, 2, 3, 1. And then you're back into first position. Don't forget you've got an F natural there as well. Because you've got an F natural followed by a B natural, you've got quite a big stretch with the hands there. So make sure that even though your first finger's back for the F natural, that you do stretch enough for the fourth finger for the B. And then you've got a G sharp, so stretch that third finger. So I would probably do an open E there just before that B that you get there. Then that takes us to B, and you've got the 3 bars rest, and that's where the second violin gets a chance to show off as well, before we come back again in 4 bars later. That is pretty much the same as the first part. Some parts I'm just rushing through really quickly, so I don't have to play it all too slow. So that's all the same as we did at the beginning, and then you've got another kind of so you've got another stoppy bow movement there. So these are quite awkward arpeggios here, so trying to play them in isolation is quite difficult. So stay in third position as it says, starting with a 4 on the G natural. For the C sharp I move down. Then you're back up again at 53 into third position. Back to an open D. So at the solo there, be careful that you don't get caught out with an F sharp. So you've been playing F sharps at the start, then you seem to play a lot of F naturals, and then you're going back where it says solo to play an F sharp. So you've got the B flat, the C, A to G, and then you've got a G, which is the first semiquaver of the run that kicks off the solo, but it's almost a little breath. So you could almost hold just a fraction. You don't want to hold the music up, but you could. That would give you a chance to get your bow across. And then you've got another set of awkward arpeggios at D, so practice these separate bows until you've got them. So you've just got more bow stoppage there. Carrying on at 63. You've got another roll at bar 66. So again, you've just got all the stopping of the bow that, like I said before. Bar 66, you've sort of toward the end of the bar, you've got an F natural, and then you've got a B flat. So the F natural is the second finger on the D string, your B flat is the second finger in the same place on the G string. So don't lift it up, because you'll get an open D in the middle. Roll it over. Stop the bow ready for that D. So that's another kind of roll situation, so you can prepare your fingers. So the second half of that bar there, where am I now? Bar 68. You've got another C sharp there that I only got caught out on. So I'm moving up into third position at 72, 73. So, excuse my intonation there. I think you want to stay into third position. So I stay in third position from bar 73 when you go up on the A, which is the fourth note in, and then I come back down at bar 75. Sorry, in bar 76 on the B flat, which is the second quaver in. And then what you've got at F was pretty much the same thing that you had at A. brings you back just before the tutti at bar 85. So again, it's up to you, like I said at the beginning, if you want to go down into first position or stay in third position for the tutti part. It keeps everything quite nicely on the E string there. It's coming to the end as well, so I personally wouldn't want to dampen that in third position, and it's really not very hard to go and go up to from the third finger to on the D. For the third finger D on the A string, going up to a C natural on the E string. It's quite a nice little slide anyway. Back on that G like it says. So I put a nice little trill there on the E just before the end. The second violin part doesn't have a chance to do that because I think it moves in syncopation, so there isn't a chance for that to happen there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. You've still got your dynamics to put in there and everything, but that might be something that you could do if you're working on somebody with this, to try and weave the tune in and out and everything. There are places where the tune is kind of occurring in the second violin and not so much in the first violin, but the dynamics are pretty much there for you. So when, for example, at C, you've got an MP where we're just going to be going. And the second violin has a little tune there. I think they've got some arpeggios or something similar to while we're doing or whatever it is there. So we need to be nice and quiet there so the second violin can sing his little part out there. Everybody's got a chance to shine, so the second violin is going to be shining at B, for example, but we've got our first solo at A where the second violin basically shuts up for 3 bars so that we can do our little solo there. So just follow the directions. You don't want to take the speed too fast with this. I've heard this played really fast, and I've also heard this played really slowly as well. So just take it at a speed that's comfortable for you. If you've got, you can get piano backing tracks for this. I'll put a link underneath to where I've got the piano backing track that Ben and I have used. I think it was like, I don't know, $5 or £3, something like that. I can't really remember. But they do it at a faster speed that you can play, and they also offer a practice speed as well. So I'll put a link below where you can buy that from, and also the link below where you can buy the music. But yeah, I think that's everything probably on the tutorial about this. I kind of feel that I need to do something else just to end this video. Ben, at the end of his videos, decided to play it at 100 miles an hour whilst trying to keep in time. So I'm not going to copy what he's done. I'm going to do something similar. So what I've decided to do is to use my electric violin hooked up to lots and lots of distortion, because you guys know how much I like electric violin and distortion. And I'm going to play you out with a little bit of the first violin part of the concerto. Bach would probably murder me with his bare hands if he heard me play this, because I'm going to try and play it guitar style as well. So who knows what that's going to sound like. I'll probably end up going off on one and trying to do some improvisation, so it's probably going to sound horrendous, but I don't know, I'll have a little go, and I suppose you'll just see what kind of clips that you end up with, or you might end up with nothing, I don't know. So here you are, just to play you out of the video with some first violin part of the double violin concerto, kind of guitar style. So I hope you enjoy it.